Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
So good to be here today. Last day of training. For me, it's like my fourth one, so very excited to be graduating. So, Giten Tonkov, the developer of this amazing modality called Biodynamic Breathwork and Trauma Release, that so many of us are finding now, and through you sharing it with the rest of the world. And for me, it's like what I want to do now. So first of all, just so people can understand a little bit more, how did you come to develop this? What was it that brought you to this, and how did you create it?
Yeah, I was a massage therapist since the early 90s, so bodywork is my foundation.
Okay.
And I was working with people on a regular basis in New York City for many years, and then I was bringing in working with breathing into my bodywork. Deeper breaths, so I noticed how it was affecting emotional state of my clients. So I studied more about working with breath through Osho-oriented groups in Pune in India. That was my first trainings with breath work. And as I kept developing, I found somatic experiencing and trauma release modalities that work very finely with the nervous system. So as I experimented over the course of many years with people individually and in groups, this modality kept developing, and it's still developing over the course of many years. I like to keep it alive. I love to keep it fresh and bring in new things that I discover for myself and things that I notice that work when I introduce them into this approach, because it's a multimodal approach, meaning that there is different elements that support each other in creating an opening for the physical body. So the work developed over the years of experimenting, working with people on very close level.
I mean, I've noticed even over the last 18 months with coming to the different modules, the last four modules that I've done, that even the extra and the different bits and pieces and new ideas and new information that you're always giving us. So yeah, I can see that. And also, you brought out your book, didn't you? In March.
In this March this year, my book came out. It's called Feel to Heal, and it kind of summarizes the years and years of my experience working with breath, working with people in trauma release, and it's really it's a foundation for anyone that wants to find out more about how the trauma affects our body, how it's held in the body, what are the symptoms, what are the and what are the steps to let it go. So it breaks down in the plain language.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found it's great. It's amazing. Yeah. So, if you're interested and want to know more, then get this book. And actually, there's a few people here this week who found it through reading your book.
Exactly.
And they've come on the training. So yeah, it's amazing.
And it's available on Amazon worldwide.
Yeah, great. Okay, so just your best one to explain it is like there's 5 elements to this, isn't there? Oh, 6. Sorry, yes, there's 6 elements. So what are the 6 elements?
The first element is deep connected breathing. So we use the breath to charge our system.
Yes.
To bring up the charge. And we generally work with low to medium activation. So when we start to breathe deeply, our body starts to generate more energy. And this is the energy that's needed to work with to release the trauma. Yeah. The second supporting element is movement. So when we release the energy that's been trapped in our tension, whether it's in the superficial tension or deep core tension, we need to move that energy through some sort of movement. We use generally unwinding movement, which is a movement that starts to free all the frozen fascia, all the connective tissue, as well as release the tension in the musculature in very deep at the core. Yeah. We also use movement to warm up. for the session. We use freestyle dance and then conscious movement. The next element is touch. So we use touch in the form of body work, whether to support the release, to go deeper working with tissues, or touch can be used to resource. Yeah. The next element is sound. So we use sound as our voice to express, to open, and there's also elements of external sound in forms of music and live instruments which affect our body. The vibration, the vibration is affecting all of the tissues in the body. And the next element is meditation. And in meditation is needed for integration and looking at everything that's moved for you objectively, and also to cultivate this inner witness. Yeah. And another element is emotions. So we work with releasing our emotions that's been stuck, and any emotions that have been released into the body but not expressed, they are stuck in our body in the form of physical tension. So once we release that physical tension, emotions associated with it also come up to the surface.
Yeah, I can remember one of the things you were saying was about it's very hard to sit and meditate and switch off if our container is full of emotions and stuck energy. And through doing this, at the end of a process of the breath and the movement and the sound and everything else, it's so much easier to sit in that space of silence and peace, because you've given yourself some space inside.
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
one of the biggest things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's an approach that actually Osho came up with. It's the active meditation. So we need to put our body into movement to release whatever is activity still in the mind, and when we move our body, our mind gets quiet. So we invite silence to occur naturally instead of trying to make ourselves silent and quiet.
I mean, for me, I hadn't come across Osho until I came here, and I have to say, for me, they've been amazing. Very difficult, some of them, but absolutely amazing. So Osho meditations are great for this, with this work, aren't they?
Pretty much not only with this work.
On their own. Yes.
Yeah, I find for modern people, for modern men and women, this is a beautiful way to connect to silence naturally without forcing it onto yourself.
Yeah. Okay, then the other question that a lot of people have been asking, and I think it's because breathwork is now becoming, people are hearing more about breathwork around the world. Yeah. And there's many types of breathwork. You've got the holotropic breath, and you've got Wim Hof, and the transformational breath, and then we've got biodynamic breath. And can you explain or give us an idea of the difference, why ours is different?
Yeah, there are many different types of breath work, like you mentioned, and all of them are super beneficial. But the focus of our work is to embody and stay present to our experience. The focus of the work is trauma release. So we work with the nervous system, with the musculature, with connective tissue. What sets this work apart, first of all, is the presence of body work in the sessions and the use of the felt sense. So people in the session, they stay present to their physical experience. Therefore, we need to keep the level of charge low to medium, so people can actually feel what's going on without checking out, disconnecting from their bodies. And a lot of the times, with deep breathing through the mouth, it's actually triggering the sympathetic response in our body. And if there's trauma stuck in the body, the first defense is to disconnect, to dissociate. And we want to avoid that in our sessions. Therefore, working with felt sense during the sessions is by far, I found, the most effective way to be present and to release the trauma. So the main difference is work with felt sense, presence in the session. It's not designed to to explore alternate states of consciousness, like some other breath work is. We don't really do affirmations like transformational breath does. Our focus is all about embodying in the sessions and bringing particular type of movement and tremoring, neurogenic tremoring, which releases tension from our nervous system.
It's about feeling in the body.
Yes,
it is about
feeling and staying in the body as much as possible.
Okay. The other question that I wanted to ask you was about how you see this helping people who are, you could explain a little bit about how it helps with anxiety, depression and PTSD, those areas, because that's, there's so much of it now, and there's so much stress and so much anxiety in the world.
Yeah, this work I found extremely beneficial for anxiety. What the definition of anxiety is that the body is generating more energy than it's using. So we are retraining our system to first of all learn how to properly discharge without overwhelming ourselves. And the concept of titration, which comes from somatic experiencing, the discharging little by little so we don't overwhelm the system. Okay. And if people with depression, that actually a first step is to come back into feeling our body. When people are depressed, they disconnect from feeling their physicality. Yeah. So with this work, I mentioned that it's all focused on embodying. Yeah. So we support people to come back into feeling their physicality. Yeah. And it really supports people to move away from the mind back into the body. That's when the healing starts. Yes. Yeah. And for PTSD, again, it's about supporting people in a very gentle way to start to release the tension, to find safety again, to be in their physical body. Yeah. The PTSD person who suffers because of the trauma that's stuck in the system, it's very difficult to find safety in the physical form. But through gentle approach, through gentle work with breath, we also support people to come back into feeling and experiencing their physical body. And of course we modify the work with breath for people who are super activated or in the PTSD, who have PTSD, because work with breath can be activated. Yeah. So when we train people to work with it, we want to be present to what this person needs. Yes. And meeting their needs, not all the time that we bring in breath into the work. Yes. Sometimes it's just soft movement, unwinding, resourcing, finding safety in the body, finding safety in your environment, resourcing. Yeah, resourcing. It's a big one, isn't it? Yeah. Big one. Okay, and how about working with other modalities to help with people who are, say, got PTSD or depression? How do you find that? So would you suggest that it would be helpful if they've got sort of talking therapy or work with mental health or with psychiatrists or and working with our breath work with that type of with other bodies? Yeah, in generally I think it's a great idea to combine therapeutic approaches. Yes. Not all one therapeutic approach is complete in every sense. So to support people to transcend their trauma, to let go of their trauma, to let it go from their bodies, it's best to involve the body, the mind, cognitive understanding of what's happening for us. And I always recommend to pair this method with cognitive understanding. Not all of our students are trained psychologists, so it's best to work with a psychologist or psychiatrist or even somatic experiencing therapist to approach it from many different angles. Our focus is to support the person to let go of their trauma. So whatever works, it's great to invite them to include that. Okay, thank you. I'm
I'm not sure what else I wanted to ask you. I think that's really everything I wanted to ask. Is there anything you'd like to tell everybody or invite everybody to?
Yeah, I would love to extend an invitation to join our workshops. They're happening all over the world. All the information can be found on biodynamicbreath.com, and our practitioners are available for individual sessions. There's a practitioner database on our website, so you can find a practitioner near you, so you can experience sessions.
Yeah.
And Rosemary is offering session
in the Isle of Man, and in Ireland, and in the UK.
Yeah.
And actually I'm doing a retreat in Spain
That's
in
great.
November. Yeah. So I would definitely recommend it to everybody. Even if you came for 1 week for your own self, it's the most amazing and transformational experience. And I've just seen everybody that's been here this week. There's 45 of us from about 28 countries here in Kikau in Poland, and the change in people is just amazing. And just to see everybody opening up and experiencing themselves and connecting on a much deeper level with each other is like, it's just love, and we're getting to the love. So it's been an amazing experience, and you've created something amazing and very special, and it needs to go out there to the world. And if everybody got a chance to do a week of this, how different our world would be. So thank you so much, Giten. Thank you for spending time with me.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh.
All right.
Yeah, that was cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Is that okay?